Arundhati Roy's prose in The God of Small Things is often described as lyrical, poetic, beautiful, and it is all of those things. But that description misses what the language is actually doing. Roy didn't write a beautiful novel about tragedy. She wrote a novel where the tragedy has already happened to the sentences themselves. The story, for those who need the shape of it. Twins Rahel and Esther in Kerala, India. Their mother, Amu. A forbidden love affair with Velutha, an untouchable. A drowning. A beating. A silence that lasts 23 years. The caste system. The Communist Party. A pickle factory. A history house. The plot contains multitudes, and most readings of the novel focus on what happens. The transgression. The violence. The aftermath. But Roy structured the novel so that we know Sophie Mole is dead before we meet her. We know Velutha will be destroyed before we see him smile. The suspense isn't what will happen, it's how it happened, and that how is delivered through a consciousness that has already been shattered by it. Consider the prose itself. Capital letters where they don't belong. Parvam Velutha. The love laws. The one thing. Words broken apart and recombined, hyphenated into new meanings. A viable, diable age. Love in Tokyo. The sentences don't follow adult grammar, because they're not adult sentences. They're the way children think before they learn that language has rules. And they're the way adults think after trauma has broken those rules. This is the key. Roy isn't being whimsical. She's not showing off. She's showing damage. Esther stops speaking entirely after what happens to him. He retreats into what the novel calls a quiet bubble of silence. But Rahel, and through her, the narrative voice, keeps speaking. She just can't speak straight anymore. The syntax is the scar tissue. The title tells us everything if we listen. The God of small things, not the God of justice, not the God of love. The God of small things, of the way Amu held her head, the bloody bowels of a hare. When the big things, caste, history, the love laws, crush you, all you can hold on to are fragments, details, the way light fell, the taste of something. The small things become sacred because they're what survives. Roy returns obsessively to certain images. The moth on Papachi's shoulder in the photograph. Rahel's airport reflection. The history house across the river. These aren't motifs in the literary sense. They're the way traumatized memory actually works, circling back, unable to proceed linearly, touching the same wounds. The novel's structure mirrors this. We move backward and forward, 1969 and 1993. Childhood and aftermath, but never in order. Because trauma doesn't happen in order. It happens all at once, forever. You're always 8 years old watching. You're always 31 returning. The chronology is emotional, not temporal. What Roy understood, and what makes this novel devastating rather than merely sad, is that the big things that destroy us are precisely the things we can't narrate. Caste is too large to see when you're inside it. History is too long to hold. The love laws are everywhere and nowhere. You can't point at them. You can only point at what they break. A man beaten until his mouth had been stuffed with boot. A woman who aged suddenly, in a day. Children who learned that the world had other ways of breaking you. So the novel gives us small things because that's all trauma leaves you. The way someone said a word, the smell of a room, a boat in a river. These are what remain when everything else has been taken. Near the end, Roy writes that it really began in the days when the love laws were made, the laws that lay down who should be loved and how much. The passive voice is crucial. The love laws were made. By whom? By everyone. By history. By the big things that have no face and no address. Arundhati Roy took 20 years to write another novel. Some saw this as writer's block, but I think she said what she needed to say. She found a way to make English itself carry the weight of what English, the colonizer's language, the big thing language, had helped to break. The God of Small Things isn't about trauma. It's written in trauma. The fracture is the form.